employees, they know and they do it, and every wealthy person knows and does it, and many times subconsciously. A lot of times it's not even conscious. Anymore? Trey?
Yeah, we got people saying that you need to be hungry.
You gotta be hungry.
Create a large network.
Create a large network. Just right there. Start thinking at least bigger. And some of you think, I can't think that big because I just don't believe I'll ever be able to achieve it. That's correct. If you believe you can or if you believe you can't, either way, you're right. It's the thinking that makes it so. So start small. Just dream bigger than you do right now. Go as far as you can see. And when you get there, you'll see further. Number 2. What's the second? Did we get any more in there, Trey? Did we get any more?
Yeah,
Okay, so Trey's gonna look and see what else you came up with, because there's 2 more that every single billionaire employs. They know and they do it, and every wealthy person knows and does it, and many times subconsciously. A lot of times it's not even conscious. Any more, Trey?
Yeah, we got people saying that you need to be hungry.
You gotta be hungry.
Create a large network.
Create a large network. There's nothing wrong with being hungry or having drive or desire and having a good network. Some people do that, some people don't, who are wealthy. Going to events and workshops. I know a lot of wealthy people who don't go to any events or any workshops. They absolutely hate it. It's like, I'm not gonna go. I guess they work out of their own little bubble. They hate people. I know some of them do. They're always learning. I know some guys who are so smart, they always know they're the smartest guy in the room. And they refuse to learn from anybody because nobody's as smart as them. Here's the point, it's not everyone. Yes, many wealthy people love learning. Many wealthy people go to various events and give and receive recognition. Many very wealthy people do a lot of these things, but not all, at all. Any more?
That's kind of consistent.
Good, okay, very consistent. Okay, this is great. Let me tell you something. I'm glad you're watching because you don't know this stuff, clearly. Nobody knows what I'm about to say. All right, number 2. All wealthy people have a very active energy within them, which unsuccessful people don't, and that is initiative. It's initiative. An initiative is inner drive. It is the inner motivation or inspiration that compels you to take action when nobody told you to do anything. Someone who has initiative is a self-starter. Wealthy people, billionaires, are self-starters, more so than you could ever imagine. They take initiative. They take initiative. This energy overlaps into they take charge, they lead. But taking initiative is doing something out of your own volition. You're not told to do it. You just do it anyway. You do it because you know it needs to be done. It's your own initiation of an action. Taking initiative is one of the most powerful energies. And I'll give you the opposite of this. Most people don't do anything unless they're told or asked to do it. And then they resent it. I hate being told what to do. Okay, well then, if you would do it, I wouldn't have to tell you or ask you. Could you put the trash out? There's trash overflowing the trash can. We can't squeeze it down anymore. I know you've jumped in the trash can and tried to crush it down like a trash compactor, but there's still trash everywhere. And you walk by it and you see bits of trash on the floor, and instead of taking initiative and just saying, the trash is full, and instead of just taking the bag up, tying it together, putting it in the trash can outside, putting a new trash liner in there, and getting it done with, that's showing initiative. You don't. You will just bypass it. You'll bury your head in the sand. It's an inability to confront. And then somebody has to say, hey, would you mind putting the trash out? And then you get, oh, I didn't know what to do. That's loser mentality. Look, there's a millionaire mindset. There's a millionaire mentality. And at the end of the day, there's a loser mentality. Winners of all types, champions, take initiative. They don't have to be told what to do. You look at winners in sports. They're the ones who are at the stadium first. They're told you have to be there at 11 o'clock. They're there at 10 o'clock. They weren't told they have to be there at 10 o'clock. They don't have to be there at 10 o'clock. But they took their own initiative. That's what winners do. People who are worth a lot of money take the initiative. They do things before they're asked or told. They take action from a self-starter situation. They have inner motivation, self-motivation. They're self-starters. They do it without being told. They think of things that they need to do. You understand that? Showing initiative is assessing a situation and deciding what needs to be done here, even though it may not be obvious. That's taking initiative. In my office, in this office here, we have doors. And as I walk through the doors, I immediately say, I want to give some papers to the person who's in that office, but the door is shut. And we have a closed door policy, which means if the door is shut, nobody can interrupt that person. They shut the door on purpose. They want privacy. They want to be able to focus and concentrate because they're working on something. They do not want any interruptions. And there's nothing that's that urgent. They can't wait a few hours or even a day. So I walk by, I get some papers that I want to hand to an individual. The door is shut. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to bother her. She's working. She shut the door because she wants to focus and concentrate. And that's critical. But I got these papers. And I don't want to shove it under the door because then that's going to disturb her. She's working and then she hears some papers. It's going to distract her. I don't want to distract her. I want her to focus on whatever she's doing. That's why she shut the door. So I think, it would be good if there was a little something on the door that I could put the papers in. So when she opens the door, it's like a little basket or something, she would see it. That would be efficient. So I write it down. And I say to myself, I'm not going to tell anybody to do it. I want to see if there's anybody in this office that can show initiative. Because clearly I'm not the only guy who thinks that may be a good idea. Weeks and weeks go by. And I'm getting a little disturbed. Because no one's showing the initiative to suggest to me or the office manager, hey, I have an idea. I think we can improve the efficiency. What if we get some beautiful things here? Matter of fact, I went online. I found a few. I think this one works really nice. It's easy to install. We put it on everybody's door, and this will be really good. No one has come up. No one has shown that initiative. And then I come into the office, and on her door, that one person's door, I didn't say anything to anybody. She's got one of these little bins on her door. No one else does. But she took the initiative and said, you know something? This would be a good thing. She didn't ask. She just did it. That's taking initiative. See, successful people just assess situations and figure out what needs to be done. That's showing initiative. That's being a self-starter. And then doing it. Initiative is a critical word. Look it up in the dictionary. Look at the original language that the word comes from. study the word, look at the various derivations, the etymology of the word, the history of the word, and then use it several times in a sentence and feel good about that word. That's activating and illuminating the energy and essence of the word. And you'll start showing more initiative. Listen, just get a card. Get a card like this, get a piece of paper, and just put initiative, put it all over your house. And just ask yourself, I'm going to show initiative today. And just make it a habit every day that today I'm going to do something to exercise initiative and show initiative. You start doing that, get into the habit of showing initiative, it makes all the difference in the world. Just today, the White House, Office of the President, put out a little release. And it said that they're going to change the policy. And the policy change is, instead of hiring people based on quotas, we need a certain number of short people, we need a certain number of tall people, we need a certain number of fat people, we need a certain number of skinny people, we need a certain number of women and a certain number of men, we need a certain number of blondes with blue eyes, we need a certain number of people with dark skin, we need people of this religion. They have all these quotas. You have no idea. My mind. And so when you're hiring people, it has almost nothing to do with the qualifications or how good the person is, how qualified they are. It's about quotas. Now think about if you did that in the NBA. So here we are at the NBA. You're trying to put together a basketball team of champions so you can win the championship. And they go, sorry, you have to bring people on and have them play based on quota. So you need some redheaded people, you need some Asian people, you need some Native Americans, you need some fat people, you need some short people. You can't have the best athlete. You can't have one race. You have to have you have white, you have Asian, Japanese, you need some Chinese, you need some Eskimos, you need some Indians. You can't have all these African Americans. You can't have all that. I mean, stop picking the best athlete, the best players. No, you have to pick on based on these quotas. So they changed this, and the president said we're no longer going to hire people in the federal government based on quotas. We're actually going to do something radical. We're going to hire the best, most qualified person for the job. And the only way they'll keep the job is if they keep proving that they're the best. And if they slack off or if they don't perform, we'll fire them. Just like if you hire a coach of a football team, a baseball team, whatever, and the coach is hired and he fails. He doesn't make the playoffs for the first year or the second year. And he has this horrible losing record. Then the owner of the team says, you're fired. I hired you to win. You're not winning. Therefore, you're fired. Okay? I'm going to hire somebody else. How radical is that concept? So this came out today. And here's what it said. The number one trait was people who show initiative. It tells you the importance of initiative. So that's the number two most important thing that billionaires and successful people know. They must show initiative. And they must always be activating that initiative energy. If you want to become successful, start showing more initiative. Number three. What's the third one? Nobody knows. I love it. Now they're giving up. They're going, listen, I surrender. I surrender, Kevin. I don't know what number one was and number two. Clearly, I don't know what number three is. I'm trying. And by the way, everything that you said are good traits that you should employ. There's no question. You should. And some successful people employ them. Others don't. There's a mix match. But there's three that everyone does. So thinking big was the first one. Second one was initiative. What's number three? Now, you were just at Leadership Weekend, Trey, where I went through the 30 leadership energies that people have. And it wasn't in an order of importance. It was just in an order in which we actually clear the counterintentions of those energies using the leadership processes. And people started, like the first one was initiative, that we cleared, right? People were like, oh my God, I went home and I just cleaned up the house and I did this and everything, I feel so good. I'm not even thinking about it anymore. This is unbelievable. It's already working. Anyone that you think would be the third one? Do you have any guesses?
It kind of goes with initiative, but getting rid of procrastination.
Okay, so Trey said that he had a little advantage. He was just at our Leadership Weekend. We went through these. He said getting rid of procrastination. That's the opposite. That's the counterintention, procrastination. The actual energy that leaders, billionaires, people that make $1 million a year, people that make $500,000 a year, all employ is a philosophy. And it's an automatic. It's something that's in their DNA. It's something they don't even think about, and that is the do it now mentality, which is the exact opposite of putting it off or procrastination. So it's real simple. Do you procrastinate? Do you put things off? And the answer, all of you are going to say, yeah. I mean, not everything, Kevin, but certainly I do procrastinate. Perfect. I remember Reverend Pat Robinson, who was the founder of Christian Broadcasting Network, and I knew Pat. I was down there at CBN, and I talked with him, and he built an amazing organization. This was a guy, you want to talk about success story. For those of you who are Christians, this is an amazing success story, but those of you who are not Christians, it's still an amazing success story. He started with nothing. He went down to Myrtle Beach and Virginia Beach down there, and he built this network, a TV network out of nothing, starting with nothing, Christian Broadcasting Network, and then he ran for president. And it was an amazing story. He was asking one of the interviews when he was running for president, and he said, what is one of your best traits? And he said, I'm impatient. I have to get everything done right now. And he knew that was one of his best traits. Impatience, which means I need to get it done now. The do it now attitude. Winners are not procrastinators. Winners don't put things off. Billionaires don't put things off. There's a difference between initiative and do it now. Doing it now is if you get an order, if you get a directive, if you're getting a request, do you get it done now? Let's just do it now. If you think it's something to do, that's initiative. But if you do it right now, that's a do it now attitude. When you combine both of them, it's like taking two chemicals that are very powerful chemicals. But when you mix them together, it explodes. You have awesome power. And you combine that with thinking big. You can see how this is a 1-2-3 punch that is unstoppable. It will make you unbeatable. It will make you unstoppable. You have big dreams, big thoughts. You show massive initiative, and you have a do it now attitude with no procrastination. You're completely impatient. You need to get it done now because you take massive and immediate action. Massive and immediate action. Bill Gates said this. He was on the Larry King show. Larry King was on CNN. He used to interview these people live. I knew Larry. When Bill Gates was on, he was the richest man in the world, co-founder of Microsoft. And Larry said, Bill, are there any secrets to success? And Bill Gates said, yeah, you have to be at the right place at the right time, and you have to see the vision and potential in things, and you have to think big. He actually said that was number two. And number three says, but the biggest, to me, the most important, he says there were a lot of people at the same place I was. A lot of people saw the same potential. They thought as big as I was. The difference, Larry, was I took massive and immediate action. I did it right then and there. Because I'm impatient. I have to get things done. I have to get them done yesterday. Bam. You are seeing and hearing directly from these people who don't even know really. But thinking big, showing initiative, and taking massive and immediate action, having a do it now attitude. You are programmed to procrastinate and put things off. Because when you put things off, you don't have to confront. That's an energy that is active in most people, and it creates massive fear that makes you very uncomfortable to confront things. You can't confront a person, you can't confront the situation. When there's a disaster going on, winners confront. They assess the situation calmly, logically, and they want to know exactly what's going on. What is the situation? And all the little people around, this happened to me a bunch of times. I brought some staff in, and I know there's a problem because no one wants to look at me in the eye. And everyone's afraid to tell me. They're afraid to confront. So I go, what's the situation? Well, let's let them know that we're here to support them. And everybody was just blown away. Those guys succeeded, and we continued to succeed too. Everybody was happy. We were good friends, by the way. Next to that is completely different than if you think about doing something and then put it off for 48 or 72 hours. The chemicals that are released, the neural pathways that are established, the parts of the brain that light up and get activated, the hormones, everything changes. It's like night and day. If you want to be successful, you must get in the do it now mentality. But you have a procrastination mentality, a put it off till tomorrow mentality, I'm afraid to confront it mentality, I'm afraid to get started. You have this inability, you have all these stops in your field. It's in your DNA that comes from your ancestors, and then it's also in your own memory banks. You have a habit of, I'll put it off till tomorrow. You have the procrastination habit, and it's a failure habit. It's similar to excuse-itis. In the book, The Magic of Thinking Big, the first chapter is believe you can succeed and you will. And the second chapter is cure yourself of excuse-itis, the failure disease. Procrastination is simply making excuses why you can't start today. Successful people are always too busy doing what the other guys are still talking about. Losers, by the way, are always good at one thing, making excuses. Think about it. Excuse-itis, the failure disease. That means procrastination, putting things off, is the failure disease. If you look at all the billionaires, all the people that are worth $500 million or more, all the people that are worth $100 million or more, all the people that make $1 million or more a year, they all employ these three things. And none of them procrastinate. None of them make excuses. They have a habit of doing it now. Do it now. Do it now. You take advantage of this material. You use your willpower to employ these three steps. Think big, show initiative, and do it now. And watch your life skyrocket. And start watching all of your dreams coming true. I'm Kevin Trudeau. This is the Kevin Trudeau Show. Limitless because you are limitless. Make sure that you like us, you comment, leave comments, share this video, and subscribe. Now, I do have a little bit of news today. John Denny, as you know, is our new executive director, producer, guru, head, top banana, CEO, managing director of